And welcome back to Sports Night in Auburn.
Brooks, I don't know about you, but on average, I have about 5 to 4 exams in my classes. And if I didn't pass a single one, I would have a failing grade. Auburn football falls 0-4 in SEC play. I know you're going to talk about that more later, but I can't help but wonder, what is it going to take to get the Tigers back together?
Kitty, we're going to get into all of that tonight, and I think in tonight's show, you'll find that our women's sports are actually firing on all cylinders.
At the end of the half hour, you'll see that Auburn has produced stars beyond the realm of college sports. All that and more is to come tonight on Sports Night in Auburn. Walking you through it all, I'm Kitty Diamond.
And I'm Brooks Crew. Now, I know you may not want to relive it, but in case you miss it, Auburn played in Jordan-Hare Stadium for their second night game in a row.
On the other side of the line, it was another set of Tigers. If it wasn't purely a matchup of the mascots, it would make sense why the game's score rejected an even battle.
Auburn found themselves on the short end of the stick this week, this time to 16th-ranked Missouri. Despite a heroic defensive efforts to force a double overtime, Hugh Freeze's Tigers were ultimately unable to hang on and fell to Eli Drinkowitz's Tigers 23-17. Eagle Eye's Vivian Kennel was on the scene and has more.
Auburn took number 16 Missouri into double overtime, but came up short, falling 23-17 this Saturday in Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Auburn's offense, led by junior quarterback Jackson Arnold, started strong with a 75-yard drive, culminating in a 1-yard touchdown run, giving the Tigers an early 7-0 lead. Missouri responded with a powerful ground game, with Ahmad Hardy scoring 2 touchdowns, powering through Auburn's defense. In the third quarter, Auburn's offense showed flashes of promise, with Jeremiah Cobb's 41-yard rush leading to Omar Madison scoring his first career touchdown to reclaim the lead for the Auburn Tigers. The game landed in double overtime, and Missouri broke through in the second with a short touchdown run from Bo Prabula to seal the win.
I mean, it's pretty devastating not getting the outcome that we want, but we just got to bounce back and stay together.
Despite the loss, Auburn's defense showed improvements by holding Missouri below its season scoring average. However, turnovers and red zone inefficiencies proved costly.
With the loss, Auburn moves to 3-4 overall and 0-4 in SEC play. The Tigers will next travel to Fayetteville Saturday the 28th to face Arkansas. For Eagle Eye TV, I'm Vivian Kennel.
Calls to fire Freeze have now hit a boiling point, but Auburn Athletic Director John Cohen has decided that Freeze deserves another week at the helm.
The Tigers, still seeking their first win in SEC play, will attempt to snap a 4-game losing streak this Saturday at 11:45 a.m. Central Time against the Arkansas Razorbacks. If you're making the trip to Fayetteville, take some good luck with you.
Now, we have some exciting entertainment news for Auburn fans. The Alabama native and self-proclaimed Auburn fan is coming to the Plains. That's right, Riley Green will be playing a show in Neville Arena on Iron Bowl Eve.
'Twas the night before the Iron Bowl, and if you won't be able to sleep, I recommend that Riley Green performance. Pre-sale tickets for the students begin tomorrow, Wednesday, October 22nd, so get your tickets while you can. When we come back, Eagle Eye insider John Prowell will join Brooks in the studio to discuss what Auburn football can do moving forward. If you were scratching your head after that double overtime loss, maybe they can answer some of those questions. Stick with us.
Welcome back to Sports Night in Auburn. Auburn football has been spiraling as of late, falling in 4 straight contests, all of which against SEC opponents. Most recently, the Missouri Tigers proved to be too much to handle for Hugh Freeze and company. Eagle Eye insider John Prowell joins me now to discuss the state of Auburn football. John, it's good to have you. What stood out to you in this most recent loss, both the good and the bad?
Some of the good I saw in this Auburn loss was obviously Jeremiah Cobb. You know, a great running back overall, just a great guy you can hand the pill to. He'll give you decent yardage every single game. He'll be a solid player for you, and he'll give you everything you need. But, some of the bad that I saw from some of the players was also obviously Jackson Arnold. Just his ability to just take sacks in every single game is something you can't have as a quarterback. It puts you behind the sticks and just allows you to not be able to make plays in critical moments. Those are just some of the bad things we saw. And obviously, just Hugh Freeze's ability to just not make plays in the clutch.
Yeah, so, regardless of who's at the helm, and a lot of Auburn fans wish it wasn't Hugh Freeze, it still is, and Arkansas is up next. So what do you think the Tigers need to do next week just to improve and actually have a chance against an Arkansas team that's admittedly been kind of struggling?
Honestly, I would say, the first thing that the Tigers need to be able to do is get better play calling. What we've seen from Hugh these past couple of weeks is just deafening and distraught. Just honestly, his play calling on 3rd and 4th down is just hurting this team at an incredible level. Just his ability to blow the game, especially in that the Mizzou game where he just called a run play on 3rd down and handed the game over to Mizzou. You just can't have that from your head coach. And the 4th down call of throwing the ball, who is he going to throw it to? They know you're going to throw the ball on 4th down. It's just something very upsetting I'm seeing from this Auburn team.
Yeah, the play calling definitely an issue. Running that ball through the B gap on 3rd and 6, double overtime game on the line, you have to have a touchdown. That's tough, and like I mentioned earlier, like we've mentioned a few times earlier in the show, Auburn fans are really, really low on Hugh Freeze right now. He actually spoke to the media this past Monday about talking to John Cohen and what he really wants from him. Take a listen.
Statement of support mean or not mean? Do you need that at all?
Well, that would be huge. That'd make everyone feel a lot better for sure. Yeah, I haven't talked to John. I'm gonna say John has been so supportive ever since obviously my hire, and but I don't get too much into they have a job to do, and certainly he has people he has to answer to.
Yeah, certainly a tough scene for Hugh Freeze in Auburn right now. But we got to move on to Arkansas. And what do you see in this Arkansas team that could really present problems to this Auburn team?
Honestly, the number one player I'm looking at from Arkansas here would have to be Taylor Green. Taylor Green is a top 5 quarterback in the SEC. He has 17 passing touchdowns in the year, nearly 2,000-yard passing, and almost 600 rushing yards, and is the 2nd leading rusher on his team and has 5 rushing touchdowns. Just his ability to get out in space and make plays is just very astounding. It's going to be very difficult for this Auburn offense and defense to handle. And the second player I'm looking at is Omega Blake. He's a top 3 receiver in the SEC in receiving yards and has 4 receiving touchdowns on the season. And he's top 10 in the college football receiver rankings overall, which is just very astounding. His ability to be a wideout and make plays at every single level is going to hurt this Auburn defense at a high level if we just don't get him in check. And the third player we're looking at is Xavier Sori Jr., one of the best linebackers in the SEC by stats. He has 26 solo tackles and 52 tackles overall. He also has an interception and has a half sack and also a forced fumble. He's a very underrated linebacker, and honestly, his ability to wreak havoc in all levels of the game on their defense is just very incredible at his ability. And then the fourth thing I'm looking at here is just Arkansas's explosive offense overall. They're ranked 4th in the country in total yards per game, and their ability to just run the ball, throw the ball, and do whatever they want with the ball on your defense is something Auburn is going to have to just strap up for. And then obviously, Arkansas has taken 3 top 25 opponents within a 1-score game, which just shows their ability to move the ball, as I've been trying to tell you guys. But the game plan-wise here, I feel like we should be able to pressure Taylor Green, keep the game close, and Auburn's defense has to be exceptional. But also, the offense just has to be somewhat decent. I know we haven't seen that so far from Auburn, but if the offense can be just somewhat decent, we'll have a chance at this game.
Yeah, no kidding. I think it's interesting. You look at a team like Arkansas, 3 ranked losses by less than a score. Auburn's got 4, and Arkansas fired their head coach after 3. Just some food for thought. John, thank you for joining us in the studio, and that's all the time we have for this segment, but don't go anywhere. When we return, myself and Eagle Eye reporter Cohen Dalzell will dive into all things Auburn men's sports in Eagle Eye's Men's Minute. Welcome back to Sports Night in Auburn. With the football team seemingly falling apart at the seams, the basketball team getting some action was surely a welcome sight for the Auburn faithful. Unfortunately, the new Tigers squad that returned just 1 starter from last year fell in its first exhibition game against Oklahoma State, 97-95.
Stevens Pearl spoke about the defensive performance, and the team's makeup looks different this year. Here's his thoughts.
Defensively, this team is going to have to find creative ways to create turnovers, to get stops, because we don't have the same size that we did a year ago. Last year it was, we're going to keep our men in front and we're going to force guys into tough contested shots. we have the length and the athleticism to contest shots, but we don't have the size to be able to physically keep people out of the lane.
After disappointing performances from both the football and basketball teams, Auburn fans are kind of looking for wins wherever they can get them at this point. Cohen, I heard we may have had an SEC Freshman of the Week on the Plains?
Yeah, Brooks, the honors keep rolling for the Auburn men's golf team as Logan Riley was named the SEC Freshman of the Week. That was not a light feat for him because he was the runner-up at the Turtle Point Invitational, and he beat the nearest freshman by 6 strokes. In addition to that, Clipped ranked the Auburn Tigers at number 4 in the nation. They're looking to live up to that as the season continues. Number 4 Auburn was in play this weekend at the Williams Cup in Wilmington, North Carolina at Eagle Point Golf Club. Auburn competed well on Saturday's first round, finishing 7th as a team with a combined 3-over round. Florida led the way with an unreal 12-under day as a team. Sophomore Jackson Cohen led the team with a 3-under 69, while freshman Jake Albert, the predetermined individual player for the week, punched a 1-under 71. Day 2 didn't get the Tigers any closer as they fell to 9th and shot 12 over par as a team. Cohen dropped 2 strokes and fell from 5th individually to 12th. The Williams Cup ended earlier today, and the Tigers could not improve their placement, but they didn't fall down the leaderboard either, finishing in 9th place overall. Caden Pope carded a 1-under 71 and finished tied for 22nd individually, while Jackson Coyven finished his weekend with a 1 over par 73, placing him 10th individually. Auburn doesn't wait long to play their next tournament as they head to Tulsa, Oklahoma next Monday, October 27th, and Tuesday the 28th to play the prestigious Southern Hills Country Club in the Clerico, hosted by Oral Roberts. From the course to the court, Auburn men's tennis is back in action this week as they take the short drive up to Birmingham for the CCB Collegiate Invitational at the Country Club of Birmingham. Matches begin at noon on Friday, October 24th and continue until Sunday, October 26th. Now let's dive on into some swim and dive action because there was a lot of it this past week. Both men's and women's Auburn swimming and diving headed to Atlanta for the dual meet tournament, in which they face off against 3 Power Conference foes. Auburn won 13 of 22 events against the Minnesota Golden Gophers to take their first match in a thrilling 358-351 victory to send them on to face Georgia and the Bulldogs. Georgia proved to be a tougher opponent for the Tigers as they fell against the Dogs 400-382. Auburn won 10 events in the matchup and had many speedy times in the water. Madison made the top 10 in program history for his swim in the 200-meter breaststroke, posting a 1:54 time. Lisa Cleven also stitched her name into the top 10 in program history for her blazing 21.92 in the 100-meter women's freestyle. Auburn finished out the weekend against Florida State, winning 16 of the 22 events and dominating the Seminoles in the pool, 503-286. Auburn's impressive 2-1 finish will keep them on the up-and-up this season. Auburn travels to Knoxville to take on Tennessee on October 30th for a spooky swim and dive matchup with the Vols. Now out of the pool and let the wind dry you off as we run over to Brooks with some cross country.
Now let me give you a quick rundown of how this men's cross country team did. They placed 11th at the Crimson Classic this Friday while the men competed in the 8K. The best individual time came from Nixon Chevy once again, who crossed the line at 22:22. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like 22 may have been his lucky number, and I'm feeling ready for some Auburn trivia.
If you think you know track and field, we have a question about their personnel. Under Leroy Burrell, who is the cross-country and distance coach? Is it A, Richard Fisher, B, Joseph Riccio, C, Ken Harnden, or D, Aaron Kint?
We'll have the answer for you after the commercial, and we're not going to leave you hanging on the women's cross-country team. So go on, get ready for the Eagle Eye Women's Watch when we come back. Before the break, Kitty asked you, under Leroy Burrell, who is the cross-country and distance coach? Is it A, Richard Fisher, B, Joseph Riccio, C, Ken Harden, or D, Aaron Kint? The correct answer, D, Aaron Kint, who's been with the Tigers in the role since August of 2021.
Now, taking a look at the women's team, this past Friday, the Lady Tigers headed to our least favorite town in Alabama to compete in the Crimson Classic. The Tigers placed 7th overall with a total of 191 points. An impressive performance from Camila Gomez put her at 14th with a time of 29:19 in the women's 6K, outpacing 207 competitors to make her season debut. Shifting from the running track to the racetrack, we have an exciting update from the equestrian team. This past Friday, the Tigers faced off against Berry College for the first time in program history, showcasing their pink pride for their special breast cancer awareness meet. The Tigers went 4-1 on the flat and 3-2 in fences to secure an impressive 7-3 win over Berry.
Auburn Equestrian will be an important team to keep your eye on as they now sit at number 3 in the nation. Be sure to follow along this Friday as they face off against Texas A&M at 1 p.m. Cohen, what do you have for us with the women's volleyball team? How are they looking?
Well, Brooks, the room for improvement is definitely there. Auburn volleyball traveled to Lexington, Kentucky to take on number 3 Kentucky Wildcats and gave them a hard-fought match. Auburn took a set off of UK, but they couldn't get much more going against the high-flying Wildcat offense. Kentucky took the match in 4 sets, 3-1. Kate Mansfield hit the 100 block mark on the season in Lexington, proving how dominant she's been this season at the net. Well, Alexis DaCosta also hit a major career milestone, posting her 1,000th career dig. Auburn volleyball then traveled down the road to Knoxville to take on the number 16 Lady Vols on Sunday. Auburn wasn't able to close out a set against the Vols and fell in straight sets 3-0. Lauren Dreves posted 10 kills and Chanel Pitts found 21 assists in the loss. Auburn heads back to the Plains Wednesday, October 22nd as they take on Arkansas with a chance to get back on track in the race for a spot in the NCAA tournament. However, they will have to continue without a notable player in Zoe Slaughter. Slaughter posted on her Instagram that she is officially announcing her medical retirement. She will definitely be missed. Now, I didn't know how to tee this one up, but I have honors on the tee box with women's golf. Number 16, Auburn women's golf won their second tournament in 3 outings as they took home the win at the Ruth's Chris Tar Heel Invitational in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. The Tigers looked stellar in a field of top-tier opponents, including number 1 Wake Forest. Auburn's Anna Davis looked especially comfortable, shooting 69, 67, 67 for 7 under in 3 rounds for the individual championship. Sophomore duo Balma Davalos and Ann Fernandez finished tied for 4th at 2 under par for the tournament. Auburn heads across the Pacific to Hawaii next week as they face another tough field, including number 3 Stanford at the Nania Invitational October 28th and 29th. Now I'll toss the ball back to Kitty, who's standing in the circle with some softball.
Over the weekend, softball was busy with exciting matchups on both Friday and Sunday. The team is rolling through their exhibitions after facing off against Chippewa College this past Friday. To keep things moving, the Lady Tigers took on Northwest Florida State and Georgia Southern on Sunday for 2 more exhibition matches. These games are great opportunities for Auburn to build their team chemistry in preparation for the regular season. Here's John to show us more on this Georgia Southern matchup.
Where today the Auburn Tigers will face the Georgia Southern Eagles.
The Tigers will start off hot with Blaine Godfrey at pitcher and will be very successful in the first inning with 0 runs and 0 errors to start the first inning. But both teams will struggle early with scoring, with neither team putting up points for the first 2 innings, making it a very competitive game early due to Georgia Southern's first pitcher, Elena Bernard. In the second inning, the Auburn Tigers would sub in Ella Harrison out of Rutgers, a transfer recently added to the team. With the bases fully loaded and the Tigers looking to score in the 3rd inning, Alyssa Hastings, a transfer from Lipscomb, would hit a grand slam to make the score a little lopsided and 4-0, and the Tigers would not look back. The Tigers would ultimately dominate this matchup, leaving the game with a final score of 14-1, and the Auburn Tigers leading with a W.
Today the Auburn Tigers took on the Georgia Southern Eagles and dominated with a final score of 14-1. I'm John Prowell with Eagle Eye TV.
Coming up for Auburn softball, they will head to the ATL to play against Georgia Tech this coming Friday, October 24th at 6 p.m. Good luck, Lady Tigers. Now back to you, Cohen, for all things women's tennis.
Thanks, Kitty. Auburn women's tennis hosted the ITA Southern Regional Championships at the Yarborough Tennis Center last weekend, with Ashton Bowers being the main star on the court for Auburn. Despite a great performance from Alice Battesti, who also joined Bowers on the final day of matches with a chance to earn a singles berth at the NCAA Championships, she couldn't get it done against Ole Miss, Mrs. Emily Welker. Bowers, on the other hand, powered past Zara Larke of Alabama 6-4, 6-1 to earn herself a spot in the NCAA Singles Championships. Now I'll cross it over to myself in the box as I go for goal with soccer. Auburn soccer hosted Oklahoma with a chance to get a much-needed win in SEC play. Everything was even in the first half, and no one could cut through either defense for most of the match. But the goals came quickly as Oklahoma scored in the 59th minute to open the scoring before Aaron Fleury scored for the Tigers to equalize in the 63rd. The match ended that way as the teams split the points 1-1. The Tigers then traveled to Georgia to take on the number 16 Dogs. Georgia looked like they were going to score, and they did at first, and it looked like they were going to hand Auburn another conference loss. However, freshman Clara Casajuana had other plans. She buried her first career goal for the Tigers as the Spaniard equalized the match in the 77th minute, sealing the 1-1 draw. Back at the desk, they have information for what's next for the Lady Tigers.
Auburn's going to host a lackluster Missouri State this Sunday, October 26th, in a win-or-go-home situation for Coach Armstrong and the Tigers. If they win, they have a shot at the SEC tournament, but if they don't, Auburn's season may just come to a close early. Kickoff is set for 2 p.m. at the Auburn Soccer Complex.
In bright news, last week, Lily Devereaux was named to Top Drawers Soccer's Top 100 Freshmen. Where did she rank? Is it A, 31, B, 25, C, 50, or D, 45? We will have the answer to that trivia question right after a short break. When we welcome you all back, we will start my personal favorite segment, Trending Tigers.
Welcome back to Sports Night in Auburn. When we left off, Kitty promised you an answer to our second trivia question, which was, last week, Lily Devereaux was named to Top Drawers Soccer's Top 100 Freshmen. Where did she rank? Was it A, 31, B, 25, C, 50, or D, 45? The answer? Letter A. The team has definitely felt her impacts, and the Auburn fans aren't letting it go unnoticed. Well, Kitty, I think it's time to take it from one football to the other. We're heading up a level to the pro level. Let's talk about Auburn alum in the NFL. Former Auburn defensive player Jamian Sherwood had 10 tackles and 1 sack in the Jets' loss to the Panthers. He's also currently tied for 11th in the league in solo tackles with 33.
There's another impressive defender we need to bring up. Derek Brown. He helped the Panthers win over the Jets with 7 tackles and 2 sacks.
In the NFC East, Darius Slayton had 166 yards on 12 receptions, good for 13.8 yards per catch, and the Giants lost to the Broncos.
Yeah, Brooks, let's switch to the winning side of that game, where Bo Nix had won 33-32 against the Giants with 279 pass yards and 2 touchdowns, where the Broncos on a 4-game win streak.
Yeah, Bo Nix, certainly a Auburn legend, even if he didn't exactly graduate from Auburn. We definitely have some amazing talent in the NFL, but let's transition now to all things swag and Trending Tigers. Firstly, for Trending Tigers, the 2015 Auburn Women's College World Series team was back this past weekend on the Plains. They were recognized in front of everyone at Jordan-Hare Stadium on Saturday during Auburn's game against Missouri. It was certainly great to highlight such an impressive team that won Auburn softball's first ever SEC championship.
For anyone who is watching the Tiger Walk this past Saturday, there was one outfit that you just could not miss. Cam Coleman was rocking a bright pink sweatshirt that honestly, I wouldn't mind getting my hands on. Now, the rest of the team did not disappoint either. My personal favorite was Keldrick Falk, who rocked what I think is the biggest chain I have ever seen. Now, I personally have never touched a golf club, but I can't imagine a better feeling than a hole-in-one. Well, one of our Tigers experienced this bliss when she secured her first ever hole-in-one during the first practice round last week. Congratulations to Molly Davidson on this exciting achievement. On that note, that's all we have for you today. For more Sportsnet in Auburn and Eagle Eye Sports, follow our Instagram and Twitter pages. Make sure to subscribe right here on YouTube and tune in every single week. My name is Kitty Diamond.
And for all of us here in the Eagle Eye studio, Cohen and John and everyone behind the camera, our producer is Sophia Weber. I'm Brooks Crew. This has been Sports Night in Auburn. Good night and War Eagle.